Scott County Board of Adjustments meeting into order at, I guess, 5:01, close enough. First order of business is approval of the minutes. So if we can have time to look over the minutes. I know Charlie's got a copy there, but take a few moments. You'll have to forgive us. There's only 3 of us here this evening. Normally there's 5, but we do have a quorum. So we're going to go ahead with the meeting. We'll try to make it as efficient as possible. Just hang in there with us, right? I don't really like long meetings. Anybody like long meetings in here? Good, then let's move this right along. All right. I will entertain a motion as soon as you guys take a look at them.
I'll make the motion to approve the July the 7th, 2022 minutes.
Janet has made the motion.
I second.
Tommy has seconded the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same. There are none. Motion carries. If you plan to speak this evening and have signed in, and I know you folks are still signing in, if you will stand for me, please. We have to swear you in. And Charlie, if you will take care of that, please.
Really? Are that many of you? I mean,
Holy cow. All right. Good grief.
Do you swear or affirm the statement you're about to make to be the truth to the best of your knowledge and belief? Thank you all.
Well, I said that would be a quick meeting until all of you just stood up.
Yeah,
So there went that one. All right.
Yeah.
I know. That's all right.
You didn't knock on wood?
I didn't knock on wood. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We have no old applications, but we're going to start with application S-2022-31. Ike and Deb Eisenhoff. Elise? If you'll wait just a second, sir, we got to go over the staff reports.
You feel so inclined, and
It'll take her a minute, trust me.
take me like a 2-minute break.
I do like that you're ready, though.
I do really love it.
I appreciate it.
I love everybody, because then if I would have known, I would not have made a presentation. I would have just turned it over and just been like, y'all got this. I'm taking a break. I'm sitting down. This is a variance request to the front yard setback, specifically the one facing Longview Drive from 35 feet to 30 feet for construction of a home addition with a 2-car garage at the property address 1992 Longview Drive. It's zoned R1A, which is one of our single-family residential zone types, and it's approximately 0.486 acres. Staff recommends approval of the variance request, and we'll get into it here. So this is the site here. It's part of the Longview subdivision. It's one of the fewer R1A non-agriculturally zoned subdivisions in the neighborhood, in the county, and it has 2 frontages, one along Longview and one along Paris Pike. The entrance to the site is off of Paris Pike, and then all kind of subsequent entrances are off of Longview. These are our findings. We're going to be seeing a lot of these today. I included it on every single slide, but I'm just going to say them once. So when we're considering variances, the board must find that it would not adversely affect public health, safety, nor welfare, nor alter the essential character, general vicinity, or cause hazard, or allow for an unreasonable circumvention of requirements of zoning regulations. And in those findings, we must consider if the variance arises from special circumstances that do not apply to land in the general vicinity, that the strict application of the zoning ordinance or of the provisions of regulations would deprive applicant reasonable use of land or create unnecessary hardship, and that the circumstances are the result of actions of the applicant taken subsequent to the adoption of zoning ordinances. So this is the plat that was recently recorded in the clerk's office. In this plat, they established, they just did a transfer and consolidation of approximately, I think, 6-foot wide portion from the neighboring property at 1994 to the property at 1992. I've kind of circled everything that we're kind of interested in. The area in purple is the existing residence. The smaller blue square is the proposed home addition with the garage. And then the measurements in red are the distances to the respective property lines. So there's no issue with the side property line, but there is that double frontage component of the property that creates a double frontage, where they have 35 feet from Paris Pike and 35 feet from Frankfurt. Thank you.
Frankfurt.
I forget the sides.
Yeah.
US 460.
Yeah.
Problem
that way.
solved.
Yep.
We'll also fight creek and river and stream again. It'll be fine. So this is just kind of aerial, or the plat that was proposed. I mean, it is double frontage as it is depicted. So it does have a reduced buildable area, and due to limited entrances and kind of appearances, kind of having a driveway that goes around and building on the part that is considered buildable, or kind of building elsewhere is not really an option for the property, at least staff's conclusion. This is an aerial shot with the same kind of everything depicted. The PVA lines had not been updated to reflect the new property line since this was recorded yesterday. But generally speaking, I mean, it is reasonable to expect garage space on the property. I do not believe there is one currently, or if there is, it's very small, and this would allow for some uses that others are afforded. And this is kind of the appearance and the facade change, so it doesn't really alter the character of any sorts. Everyone gave me architectural drawings, so like we're seeing a lot more drawings and a lot of different amount of stuff than usual. Anyway, these are our findings here. Due to layout structures and the double frontage with minimal topographical variations, staff thinks that this does meet the findings requirement and therefore recommends approval. Subsequent to the 3 conditions of approval here, we're going to see these ones a lot again, so I'm just going to go through them once. That they are subject to the Georgetown-Scott County zoning ordinance and subdivision regs, that they comply with all other federal, state, and local regulations, and that they obtain a building permit prior to construction beginning. Besides that, I'm good.
Any questions for Elise?
You had any neighbor concerns or calls or anything?
All right.
No one minds it.
All right, sir? Your turn.
I'm the property owner, I'm Ike Eisenhoff. I see it the way she sees it.
Easy enough. We like that. Any questions for the owners?
No.
Tommy?
No.
All right.
I make a motion that we approve based on the conditions of approval.
Motion has been made by Tommy based on the conditions of approval. I'll entertain a second.
I'll second.
Janet seconds the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor by stating aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. There are none. Motion carries. So S 2022-31 has been approved.
Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. You guys can stick around for the fun if you'd like, or you're welcome to leave. It's up to you.
For kind of everyone's general knowledge, follow-up letters will be sent tomorrow morning, and then from there you can take those to whichever parties are related in each case to get everything situated. So whatever results are, we'll be sending them out tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Next application, S-2022-32. Jeff, and I'm going to butcher this name, I'm going to go with Sabra? Am I right? Sabra? All right. Sabra Abshire are requesting a variance for the side yard setback. Elise?
So this is actually a front yard and a side yard setback request. The front yard is from 50 feet to 46 feet, and the side yard is from 50 feet to 15 for the construction of an 1,800 square foot accessory structure at the aforementioned property. It's zoned A1 agricultural and is a 5-acre parcel. This is a shot of the property. There has been a previous a variance approved at this property to construct the home. In that application, they cited topographical variations and other kind of factors that are typical of this portion of the county. And staff did go out to the site and finds that those are still applicable. They didn't get flat, it stayed the same. These are our findings. These are our findings. This is an aerial shot of the topographical variation, so kind of up that long arm and that rear end of the property is incredibly hilly, and so it reduces the buildable and feasible buildable areas, and that front area is kind of where the home is and where the structure is proposed in this aerial shot are kind of appears to be the most flat portions of the property, and even then staff believes that there is reason to request a variance. Again, due to that variation and otherwise, yeah. So these are our findings here. It's the most ideal building location. There's a lot of utility lines in the rear of the property. There's a lot of, that front portion is very narrow, and there's a lot of hills. So staff does believe it meets the findings requirement and therefore recommends approval of the variances as per requested.
Any neighbor concerns? I'm going to ask before Janet can.
Nope.
All right. Any questions for Elise? All right. Would you all like to speak? Are you happy with what she said? All right. No, that's okay. That's all right. All right. I will, I guess I will do. I will go ahead and make the motion S-2022-32 to be approved, taking into account the staff recommendations. I will entertain a second.
Second.
Seconded by Janet. Any questions or comments? All in favor state aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. There are none. Motion carries. Application is approved. All right. Moving on, application S-2022-33. All right, looks like Philip and Catherine Weisenberger. Elise?
So this is a request for variance to the rear yard setback from 100 feet to 66 for construction of approximately 310 square foot pool, house, and storage area at the property address 104 Willowbrook Lane. It's zoned A1 agricultural and is about plus or minus an acre of property. This is a shot here of the area of the property. There's a pool obviously pre-existing. The Willowbrook neighborhood is a cluster development, so they've kind of exchanged preserved lands and increased setbacks against preserved lands and farmlands for smaller lot sizes to allow for a consistent kind of tighter look to a neighborhood, more consistent with urban style development. These are our findings. This is a shot of the property here. So the home right now is 100 feet from the property line, so any variances or any construction into the rear of the home would require a variance of any sort, and especially because we consider that zoning ordinance prohibits structures in the front of properties. So no matter what, any type of permanent structure would require some type of variance. The proposed structure is outlined in blue and is about 66 feet from the rear property line. This is the applicant's drawing. I just kind of clarified it and added some color to it because I felt like it was easier to read with some color to it. Our scanner is having his moment. So this is just kind of our appearances here. Again, this is a reduced area, and this property does back up to the preserve, so it already has an 100-foot rear yard setback, and so there's just not a lot of buildable property. These are my findings, pretty much everything I just said. Staff recommends approval of the application as requested by the applicant, and lists the 3 conditions above as those which...
Normal question. Any issues with neighbors? All right. Any questions for Elise? I'm assuming you guys are the applicants? Yeah,
So
if you will, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
State your name,
Yep.
so we can get it on.
Bill Weisenberger,
Okay.
if anything changes by, say, a foot or so, do we need to come back before the Planning and Zoning Commission to,
I mean, technically, yes.
okay,
Would require it.
okay. Well, we're still in the early phases of this, so I just wanted to see if
Yeah,
anything
technically you
changed.
would.
Yeah. Okay,
You agree with that, Charles?
Yes.
okay, any details?
I guess, yeah, there might be an argument made if it's not a substantial deviation, so if it's a foot instead of 50, but we still need to be notified
Yeah, okay.
and whatnot for the record, but I don't know.
I would assume.
Although that can get out of hand.
I'd say especially if it encroaches farther onto the lines, but if
Yeah.
it goes the other way,
yeah,
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point, yeah.
I don't anticipate any changes, but I mean, if we're talking, 6 inches or so, the builder needs to do something, but we'll run it
You
by
find
you
a
guys.
line or something like that, and we can work with you.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to use the
Just
word
wanted to
technically,
clarify
yes.
that. All right,
We
thank you.
can like flip it to the other side, and it would still apply. It's for the specific structure itself, and at that distance, so if you had to like shimmy to the other side of the pool, you wouldn't have an issue with it as long as it's not increasing on the side.
Okay.
It's just,
We'll check it back and see. Like I said, we're really early and wanted to do this step before we went.
No, we appreciate it.
it's the smart way to do it.
Trust me, we appreciate it.
Yeah. Don't wanna-
People cover porches and they're like, what the hell?
Any questions for the applicant? That's okay. If not, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we accept application number S-2022-33, and along with the 3 conditions of approval.
I'll second the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. There are none. Motion carries. Enjoy your pool house. All right.
Full party.
Pool party, that's right. As long
Was
as
that
we're
an
invited.
invitation?
I was going to say, if that was an invitation, then that's fine. Yeah. All right, S-2022-34, William and Laura Smith. Elise?
This is a variance to the side yard setback from 100 feet to 97.2 feet for construction of a home addition at the property address 160 Rocky Waters Way. It's zoned A1 agricultural, and much like the other property, it is technically undersized, but it is part of a cluster development in the county and is approximately 1.8 acres. This is an aerial shot of the property, so it's a recent or more recent construction on that property. And the property to the rear and to the east are both rural preserves or agricultural properties, which therefore have 100-foot setbacks from both sides. So as opposed to it being a double frontage lot like the first property we've seen, this is a double rear lot where it has this additional consideration. This is an aerial shot of the property, so not that more frequently hashed line, but rather that closer in line is the build line requirements. And then you can see the existing residence outlined in purple, the addition outlined in blue, and then the distance in red. So this is kind of the layout of the site.
2.8 feet.
This is a drawing submitted by the applicant, kind of just depicting what's going on that site. So the front square that's not in blue is a paved lot, which we wouldn't require a variance for. You can pretty much pave most of your lot, and we really wouldn't have any questions, other than why. You could do it without a variance. And then the portion that's in blue is an interior space that is the part that's requiring the variance. And the portion in purple is the part that's already there. So this is just a view of the site here, so it kind of is in line with the existing structure and kind of all the way around. So this lot is a rectangular lot, and while it has like optimal shaping, that additional tree preservation easement and protection area means that there's 100-foot setback lines from one side and the rear property line, which reduces buildable areas that others in the neighborhood and most other subdivisions and of this type do not really have to deal with. Usually they're just kind of rounded edges and they don't ever have to see that type of thing. But in this case, it's the end, so they get to see it. With all that, we believe that staff does find that it satisfies the statutes and recommends approval as per requested from the applicant with the 3 conditions of approval listed above.
Any concerns? Anything?
Nope.
Okay. Is the applicant here? Would you like to say anything?
Pearce Pike, that subdivision,
It's in Hidden Creek, so I think
Yeah.
so.
Hidden Creek,
Yeah.
where is,
My name's Chad Smith. I saw you did that earlier.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
You're
it.
very welcome. Evening.
Then that's gotta be you.
Oh,
It's gotta be
hang
you.
on. We got to pause for Janet, who makes everybody turn her phone off except for us. All right. Sorry, Chad. Go ahead.
sorry,
It's about it's 2 miles past Midway Road out on Ironworks.
Ironwork,
He's up
Yes,
by
ma'am.
me.
okay.
So if you go out Ironworks like you're going toward Frankfurt.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's out by me.
I've got a question. I got
He's
a
off
question.
the
So it's
backside.
not Pearce Pike.
No,
Okay.
it comes around that back.
In the diagram here, you've got one small area that says new. What is that?
That's just the outline of what she is delineating as new. In other words,
That's,
she's only.
anything in green is new.
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
She
That's
just-
not
Okay.
another structure.
Okay, that's what.
He's using
that's
that
what
as
my
his
question
key.
I
was.
see why you asked, though.
Okay.
That's his
Okay.
key, I believe.
All right.
Question I have is, I think you all previously answered it with the last person. The parking pad, if that's a couple, I guess my question is, if it's a concrete slab, is that considered construction? Okay, so I can go over whatever.
Yep.
Perfect.
You
And
put
the,
a roof on that, that's a structure. If you do
I
not,
can't afford another roof on it.
that's fine. Then problem solved.
Understood.
Same. But also,
Any questions for the applicant?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm gonna do the minutes, I've got a couple of questions. Well, not for the applicant, no. Well, yeah, all right, for the applicant too, maybe. When you were presenting, did you say a double 100-foot setback, 2 different places?
Yeah, they have
50
the tree
feet.
preservation, and then they have the build line for the rear property line, and then the eastern property line.
All right. The rear property line, is that the one that's got the cutout in it for the rear property, though, at the long end of it?
That's way, yes, sir,
Very pointy part.
where the pointed
Yeah,
part is.
okay.
I'm a long way off from that.
Okay, all right, and the proposed addition?
It's an outdoor kitchen, is what it's,
Outdoor kitchen.
the intent.
Yeah, looking at that drawing, I can't really tell what we're doing.
So it's kind of light, but it's this portion here. So this part kind of flipped.
I'm lost too, because
See,
I
that
live
does
out that
not
way.
look like
So
that.
Sorry?
Hidden Creek is where?
Itself around. So if you
It's a fairly new subdivision, there's probably 8 or 10 houses out
All right,
there.
let's look here.
If you come off Midway Road from the interstate,
All right.
hitting
You
Iowa,
come-
If you come off of Midway Road,
Something,
if
but it
you
already
leave the
says it's
interstate,
170.
hit Midway Road and go out to Ironworks,
yeah,
turn
Oh,
left,
back to here.
yeah.
go 2 miles.
Oh, so to put this
You're
here,
really
you've
close
got
to
this
me then.
100
Do you know where December Farms is?
Yeah.
back to here.
We're on Swords Road. We own the farms on Swords
I
Road.
mean, what's
Okay.
that one anyway? This is the best
So the
one.
property line that
All
I'm
right, so- and that's the
building
one we're
closer
doing?
to is December Farm.
All right,
got you.
I understand
Okay.
now. Okay, I got you.
You're on the backside of me. You're
I got
coming back the back way.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like right behind you?
close to it.
Oh, well, this is not gonna be very tall. You want me to sit?
God, I'm not very tall either, don't care. As long as I get an invite for the kitchen, I don't care. All right, sorry.
And I did notice when we submitted this, I think I was asking for like 12 feet, and it turned into 2.8 or something like that.
That was,
I actually questioned that too, because I don't think I've ever seen a 2.8-foot variance.
I didn't want, my concern is the same thing his was. I haven't broken ground at all. I want to make sure that we can.
we can, within reason, make
Okay,
slight accommodations.
a couple feet one way or another.
Yeah.
Like I say, I'm 100 feet off the fence,
Okay.
pretty good ways.
Any other questions?
You good with this, Charlie?
Yeah, and just to make sure, I think I understand this now, but you've got the tree preservation, that's a 50-foot area, but then the building line says 100. That-
It's 100 from the property line.
Well, I'm sure it does, but that really sounds, it seems to be very misleading, because that sounds like to me, now you got 150 foot, and I know that's not what that meant to do. Okay, all right. Well, the minutes will be right regardless of this plat you got.
Thank you.
It's also, might be on our system.
Would you like some help?
What was your?
My question is, if you do
We
need
could-
a couple more feet, what are my channels for that? Talk to my wife, is what I just heard.
That
Okay.
works too.
Yeah,
We'll work with.
Unless you shut that off,
thank you.
it's gonna ring.
I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve based upon the current recommendations.
Okay, Tommy makes a recommendation to approve. Will require a second.
I second.
Janet seconds the motion. Any questions or comments? There are none. All approve by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. There are none. Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Last application, S-2022. Second to last, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, we have to flip over the page. There's,
I'm not used to flipping the page. Sorry about that.
Y'all are up in the-
S-2022-35, Brett Cool. Elise?
y'all are up in like the 30s, and like Georgetown boards comfortably at like 15. So they get like one every month, and they're like, well,
Yeah.
it's a lot. I'm like, is it? Anyway, this is S-2022-35, which is a variance to the side yard setback from 50 to 15 feet, and to the rear yard from 50 to 15 feet to construct a 1,950 square foot accessory structure with a workshop located at 131 Joel McLean. I always say it wrong. I don't know what it is. It's zoned A1 agricultural and is, it is not 5.9 acres. It is 1 acre. Whoops, I forgot to change it. My bad. It's, I made an error on the PowerPoint. The correct information is in the,
Cedar Road's and Stamping Ground.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
This is in Cassidy Heights.
Okay, yeah.
I just,
What road is this?
this is
This
off
is-
of Jolome.
Oh, it is Jelome.
It is
Yeah.
not Cedar. I just
Is it
incorrectly,
Lemons Mill? It's off Lemons Mill, is that it?
yes,
Wow.
ma'am. Or it's off of Lyle,
Lyle Road.
north of the soccer complex,
Yeah.
south of the Emerson development in Sutton Place.
Where's
Most of
that
those
in
are
Had?
decent sized lots,
Yeah, they are.
but I got a question though.
So this is an aerial shot of the property. This portion of the county was developed in the 70s and therefore really didn't apply to any of the regulations on lot sizes. So this is an undersized lot for the zoning district. It does have the 50 foots all around, and a lot of variances have come through. Maybe not a lot, I feel like that's a bit much, but there are frequent variances requested every couple years for this property, and I believe we did hear one previously in this neighborhood. This is our statutes. So this is the layout as supplied by the applicant. You can see the existing residence in purple. The darker blue is an underground utility line that goes from the corner of the residence kind of to approximately the middle of where the proposed structure will lie. The leach field is on the opposing side of the proposed structure, and then the structure itself is in that back
Should be 35.
left corner. I might have made an error if we're,
Why does it have to be so close to the lines if you've got all that in between?
I mean, I would say usability of the rear property line, at least from our understanding, it's already kind of small. But that can be up for conversational.
Is that applicant present?
Spangler should be
Okay, yes.
36.
Okay.
I don't even have
I got,
that one.
I got one big question for me anyway, concern, is that big of a work area, what's the use going to be used for? answers my question.
See, these numbers
So,
here,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I didn't wanna-
it should be 35.
We got different
got problems.
applications.
did I miss?
So see, yours is right.
You've
Nope,
got it
that should be
30
35.
application 20,
Yes, the
30, should be 35.
It should be 35, yes. I incorrectly, I tried to move everything around and then,
Excuse me, what should be 35?
On the
File.
application packet that we have, it's
File
listed
number.
as
The file.
34.
Oh, the file, oh, yeah, that,
I was like
got it.
35 feet, I was like,
Yeah.
wait, I thought I read this right, but,
Okay, that's good, because I was all thrown off.
there've been a lot of variances today. It has been a very variance-heavy month.
Okay, we'll get to that in a minute. All right.
My main concern was commercial.
So, just kind of based
Yeah,
off of the
perfect.
existing layout of leach fields and residences and underground utility lines, staff believes that it is appropriate to consider such a large variance in this case because it does allow for still some usability of that rear property area. I mean, you can kind of like run around as a kid on a leach field, but like, can't put anything on it. So putting something in the middle of the property feels inappropriate, at least in comparison to all the other sheds and things that are in this neighborhood. So these are kind of my findings. Kind of went over them already. And based off of what I've found, staff does recommend approval of the variance to the rear yard from 50 to 15 feet and the side yard from 50 to 15 feet for construction of the accessory structure. Your question?
All right. No, I agree with Tommy. I did have the question about the large structure, as long as you're not using it for commercial or a business use or anything like that.
Yeah. And if it does, it is like, portion of it is interior and then it has just kind of like a lean-to aspect, is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind. And I know this is redundant, but state your name for us, please.
Brett Cool.
Okay.
I probably won't build it as big as I've drawn it, but what I'm thinking is a 2 or 3 car bay with maybe a 18-foot wide enclosed structure on one end
Okay,
for a workshop and a garage.
makes perfect sense.
And part of the reason I've got it located there is you can see the diagonal dark line, that's a power supply to my house that's buried, so I can't go that way. And then
I'm sorry, say that last part again?
there's that dark blue line that's diagonally
Uh-huh.
going to the corner house, that's my power supply to my house, it's a buried line.
Oh,
In the
underground,
yard.
okay.
And then kind of in the middle in that open space there's 2 large oak trees. So I can't really, get closer to the house from it without getting into those trees.
How much smaller would it be if, as you said, a couple of bays for cars, then an 18-foot wide shop? What would that be compared to, what was it, 1,900 square feet?
I think that's 54 feet long, that box is. If I did 12 foot for a bay, if I did 2 bays, that'd be 24 plus an 18-foot thing, that's 42.
42 feet, yeah.
Any other questions?
You all right with it, Charles?
Well, as you all well know, we just rarely give that large variance when you've got that area that's also available. I mean, I understand the underground utilities, although I don't suppose you couldn't uncover that and put conduit around it. I don't know. Electric people,
I hope it's
they
in
know that.
conduit.
Yeah,
I hope it's
they
in
know
conduit,
that.
yeah.
I don't know. But it seemed like at the very least you could pull it down toward,
I could slide it to the paper south some, yeah.
let's see, that's west, isn't it? The side.
I think that would be.
15 feet, that's
yeah.
west. So if you could slide it to the east and get it at least closer to the 50, because I got to admit, the 15 at the rear doesn't bother me so much, although at some point I'm sure somebody's going to buy a lot over there, but that won't be any time, I hope. That's just a huge request, especially on 2 sides. We haven't had many that's really,
And one of the reasons that I had it in that corner was, if you look at that aerial picture, the gate to come in is on that side of the house. So I would, come in the backyard and I've got a pontoon boat. So I'd be coming in the backyard, and to get it back, to be able to back it into there, it's easier if it's closer that way to the corner, so I don't have to pull so far down in the yard and then back it. That was my thinking for putting it in, that far towards that corner.
Yeah, in understanding that as well, and we've had a pontoon boat for years, but we can't make recommendations based upon a pontoon boat.
Sure.
Obviously. And then the trees, looking at the trees, I don't think we've ever approved a variance for trees.
Actually, we have.
Have we?
Yeah, we have.
Well,
I mean, not
I don't
scraggly
advocate tearing
things,
them out
but
either,
yeah,
but,
nice, big, mature trees, yes,
Right.
we've done that,
Okay.
yeah.
in October, I would like to take them out.
Yeah.
So, what you think, Charlie?
I would prefer, but I'd like to see it slid down a little bit, as Charlie has referenced to, away from that 50, or towards that 50 feet, if possible.
Okay, is there
Well, I know you can't build over top of electric lines. I've experienced that myself.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, if we could get closer to 30, say,
that would be better.
that just sounds like a number that works.
Yeah, if we get closer to 30 feet rather than,
Yeah, keep the back ones at 15, although that too is stretching it, but at least from the western line, pull that back maybe 30, 'cause that's closer to an
down,
existing home.
slide it down that back property lines that was,
yeah,
okay, yeah, I can do that.
that would help.
Especially if you don't build it quite so big, although I haven't multiplied it that saves a whole lot, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're looking at, that many square feet would be, 70 feet
Well, he's at,
by
I can't read those numbers.
22, I can't see it this far, but it'd be about pretty close to 70 feet by 22, 24 feet.
Yeah, it'd be
The
20.
dimensions of the building?
Huh?
Are you talking about the dimensions of the building?
Yes, uh-huh.
Well, that's 36 this way, and that box is 54.
Okay, I wasn't too far off
If I
then.
reduce it by 12 foot and slid it down, I can get 30 feet per
Yeah, I was
year.
gonna say, you actually can, because you're gonna reduce down at least 10 feet off the reduction.
Yeah. If we take 12 foot off and slide it down 3 foot, that's 30 foot.
Right. Well, let's see how we make this motion.
Amend the, if you're agreeable, I have it, we can just.
Charlie, can we amend the application?
You know, the hackneyed kind of theory I've always operated under for that, because I'm not aware of any particular rule anywhere, is if it changes the application in any kind of significant way, we need to just renotice and come back again. If what it does is it changes it a little, but actually makes it less intrusive on, anybody around. This one clearly makes it less intrusive on the west. It does not make it more so to the south. Actually, I guess the back is the west though, isn't it? No.
It's kind of to the.
No, the side is, yeah.
Yeah, the back
Anyway,
goes southwest.
it really doesn't make it more intrusive in at least any way I'm thinking of. So because of that, I would say, no, we could kind of make this amendment here and go on, because what everybody was actually notified of is far more, I think, imposing upon them than this is.
Right.
So this makes it easier, and they didn't show anyway, so.
All right, that should be fun. Well, in that case, I'll make the motion to approve application S-2022-35, amending, I guess that would be the side yard setback to 30 feet rather than 15 feet as requested,
Okay.
with everything else standing and taking into account the rest of the staff recommendations. Is that correct, Charlie?
Yes, sir.
All right, that works. All right, so I'll make the motion. There needs to be a second.
I'll
Okay.
second.
Janet seconds. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same sign. There are none.
Now, tell me again the motion to make sure I get it down here.
Made the motion to approve, making the amendment to change the side yard setback from the requested 15 feet to 30 feet.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and taking into account the rest of the staff recommendations.
Okay, yeah. All right. That's it.
Thank you.
Now I've got it twice, so
There you go.
we're good.
All right. The last application we have, and I want to make sure I get this right, because I'm very confused at this point. Elise?
It should be 36, that staff report.
Okay, because I have 34.
I know.
All right.
I was typing through them all, and I was like, oh no, and I sent them, I was like, duh.
All right, in that case, we'll hear 2022-36, Jen Spangler Williamson and Karen Bryant, Elmcrest Farms.
This is a conditional use permit request for secondary single-family residence for family member at the property address 5415 Leestown Road. It is a 77.8 acre parcel zoned for agricultural use. Staff recommends approval. We'll kind of get into it. This is an aerial shot of the property, kind of where the green pin is. I don't know how well it's scanned, probably not well, knowing my luck. That is where the kind of existing, it's a little bit north of where the existing residence is right now. This is what was proposed by the applicant. So currently there is an existing residence on the property that's historic. So Kentucky Heritage Council has kind of come in and said, hey, can't really add a lot to this one. So if they wanted to have additional space for family or for other purposes, they've requested, they needed that second residence, which is what they've articulated in the supplement that they've supplied. So this is kind of the layout that's been supplied since we've had such terrible times with the skin. I wanted to include it. The second residence would be on top of a garage is proposed on the site, and then the existing residence will have the certain number of everything. So secondary dwelling would meet the requirements of the ordinance. The property is sufficient size to allow for the density requirement of 1 dwelling unit per 5 acre parcel to be maintained, and it wouldn't impact the general character of the surrounding area. So these are my findings. I did discuss with the applicant further on some of these conditions of approval. I do recommend approval, and the first 2 are ones we've seen previously. The third is that they would become null and void upon sale of transfer. The fourth is that the notify board if there's any changes of approved conditions. Fifth is that you get health department approval for septic systems. The condition on the distance between the residents of 100 feet or greater, staff has agreed with the applicant and recommends removing that condition on the basis of proximity to the existing residence and everything is.
This will also be a usable garage.
Yes.
In addition to the apartment. So
Yes.
This is not just simply a dwelling that needs to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, so it's allows for family to be within close proximity, and it doesn't put the structure within any of the usable fields that they're using right now. We did add another condition, though, that just says that to get an address for the dwelling or the garage space, which we can also pull if that feels so inclined. It's usually one we typically include just because it allows for us to have an updated record system of how many parcels, how many addresses are on a parcel and stuff like that. But it can easily be pulled if we feel so inclined. I really have no emotional attachment to it since it, yeah. But overall, staff does still recommend approval of the application.
Charlie, we'll need to make note too, because what's on the screen does not match what we have here.
Yes. Condition 5 in the staff report is being recommended to being pulled in exchange for condition, it's numbered 7, but it can be the new 5. That would be the
Okay, so
address.
6 goes and.
6 moves up
that's
to number
replaced by
5.
What's shown as 7 up there.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So in the staff report, number 5 is removed, number 6 becomes new number 5.
Oh, wait a
And
minute, so
then-
number 6 is what's marked out.
Yeah, it's number 5 here.
I'm trying to reference it on the staff, if we're looking at
Do
the
I hear
staff
4?
report,
Yeah, 4, 3.
All right,
No,
hold
it's
on.
it's referenced here in our staff report as number 5. That's what she has as number
Shall
6
build the
up there.
secondary.
on this, it got tangled.
Okay,
and I
so
meant
it's,
to-
so 5 now is gone.
Yes.
5 is gone,
5 in here is gone. All right.
and new
and the
5
6
for-
here is the same as.
It's
no,
the same as
not.
5. 6 on the PowerPoint is the same as 5 on the staff report.
Oh, okay. So 7's nowhere but on the wall.
Yes,
And that's what goes now as the.
that's what
number
I'm
6.
recommending being new number 6.
Six.
Everything got flown around, I'm so
Right.
sorry.
Okay.
Is that clear? for
Not
you?
until I take a picture of it, so I'll have them get
It's
back to you.
clear as mud.
Yeah, I'm really doing you dirty on that
Oh,
one.
no, Lord, I can't see that.
And that one we can pull if we feel so inclined, just for general clarity. We don't have to require them to have a address, but for our purposes, if we can, we just recommend you do while you're adding the property or the dwelling, but again.
All right, any questions for Elise?
Determination.
I make a motion to approve based on the updated recommendations, deleting number
Number 5.
5, making number 6 5, and making 6 applicant for, to acquire an address for the dwelling. Yep.
Just use that recommendation or something. I'll send you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me that in consistent with the motion, you know, like you said it's supposed to be.
Yes.
And send me that in a Word document, and I'll just plug it all in. That way we'll have it.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion.
So sorry, guys.
I will second the motion. Any questions or comments? All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. There are none. Motion carries. You're welcome. Any other business that we need to take care of this evening?
Not at this time. I'm a little sad y'all didn't show up to the safety bill or the stamping ground public meetings, but
Yeah, well.
I'll let sleeping dogs lie for that one. It's fine. I'm not sad. It's really fine. Trying to think if we have any comp plan updates right now. We're kind of working on the future land use maps and everything for the comprehensive plan project. For general reference, Tommy, the basis of the zoning ordinance is to have a comprehensive plan that just outlines the future goals and ideology.
I've been on that committee before.
Oh, yeah, so you know what's what then. So we're working on the future land use map for that side of things. We will be holding some more public meetings upcoming and some public hearings for goals and objectives and all those types of items. Again, we're just working on a future land use map right now.
All right.
If you guys have any questions, thoughts, concerns on that, you're welcome to voice them. Our website has a bunch of information and comment cards, so you're welcome just to kind of float in. But besides that, I got nothing for it, so.
In that case, meeting is adjourned.
Excellent.
I'm done.